He's taking on the Hawk here. Barry Hawkins staying on after that 3-1 defeat to Kyron Wilson. Neil Robertson very chatty this morning. All very relaxed.
The first frame. Neil Robertson.
Here we go then. Yeah, as yesterday started, he looked like he might miss out on the playoffs. He was down in 6th spot in the table, but he won his 2 matches. And he won them well, 3-0. Didn't win the semi, 3-0 against Higgins, but here we go again. And of course, Hawkins, well, having lost his first match, will want to make amends here. 1-3-2, by the way, the break from Higgins. That's a nice start from Barry.
Barry, I'm sure, will be a little disappointed with some of his play in that previous match with Kyron. Had numerous opportunities, and in the end, Kyron, although he won 3-1, didn't have to play particularly well to do so.
Yeah, highest break 40 from Kyron Wilson, so it wasn't most fluent display, but anyway, on to the next match. Hawkins, very much a veteran in the Championship League. He won't be concerned like losing his first match. Just on to the next one. World ranking has just slipped a little in recent times. He's down to 15. And that's because 2 years ago he got to the Players' Championship final. Those points come off, so... of course, won a ranking event this season, but that was back in August. Remember they played a few years ago at the Crucible, and as they came out to start, Neil Robertson tipped coffee down his trousers. Thankfully, no mishaps today, though. Not yet, anyway. I should make it clear, they were his own trousers, not Barry's. Of course, they played recently at the Masters. Hawkins won 6-3 at Alexandra Palace, so a big occasion, big win.
Yes, we all know of Neil Robertson's struggles over the last season and a half or so. But for me, he was back pretty much to his best in the previous Group 3. Played some superb snooker and just looked better. He looked more positive and looked like there wasn't any issue anymore with his game. Let's see what sort of performance he can put in this Group 4. He'll be a little tired with all the matches he's played, but he is pretty fit, Neil. And I think this extra match practice will do him the power of good, in all honesty.
30. $38. $40.
Oh dear. You don't very often see Barry miss a pot as easy as that one. Maybe he just hasn't quite found his focus and concentration and took that a little for granted, perhaps. Just seemed to play it with a little bit of drag and just cued across it enough to caused the mistake. That's a pretty good effort from Neil. Not easy to judge a shot like that, playing a direct screw back. Both these players, of course, left-handed. And I've certainly seen a slight change in playing conditions. This is the third day that these cloths have been on the table, and I feel that the cushion rails are just a little more quicker than they were. Just remains to be seen what sort of ball reaction Neil feels he's getting out of the cloth. Just a little too much on that occasion.
Well,
Neil Robertson, no.
could have blocked the pocket there, but didn't. Yeah, it's sort of blue. You kind of fancy him for it, but obviously there's a bit more pressure on because he would be leaving a red on, you would think, if he missed. So Hawkins, who missed that red out of nowhere, gets another chance. Just to say on table 2, Ricky Walden, Jagu Dong just getting underway. That's live on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel.
I don't think that could have finished any more awkward for Barry Hawkins.
6.
Had he been right-handed, the red below the cue ball would be easily cuttable. But when you consider the cue ball's in the middle of 6 reds there, and he's on nothing easy, that's unfortunate.
Seven.
Well, could have had an easier red, but he knocked it in very nicely. He's got a lovely way about him, hasn't he, Barry Hawkins? He's sort of strong in every area, really.
50.
Fine technique, and had some big wins, so in the last year or so, particularly obviously the European Masters. The tournament he won, he beat Trump, and of course we know how well he's done since then. Beat Trump in the final, beat Robertson at the Masters. Of course, wasn't at the Crucible last year, didn't qualify, was out the 16, and he was in the position Neil Robertson's like to be in this year. I mean, to go to the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield and feeling, you know, I really shouldn't be here. This is not where I should be, and of course he didn't get through. Jack Jones beat him,
20.
and then at the Crucible, Jack Jones beat Neil Robertson in round 2. Anyway, should have won this frame. Snooker's required. So that roll of the cue ball really just slightly overdid it. Robertson left himself, rather than an easy bulk colour, the long blue, which he missed, and Hawkins has done the rest.
25. 26. 32. 33.
'Projected Crucible seedings, Hawkins is actually 17 now, so that's with obviously it's points that will still go on before then. But obviously he is again in that position where he could be going back to the qualifying. Going to depend on the Welsh Open, the depend on the World Open, of course, whether he's in the Players' Championship. Ranking points available there as well.
47.
I can't afford to think too much about all that though. Just try and win matches, and then the rest of it takes care of itself, really.
49.
Yeah, Hawkins on the 1-year list is in 6th spot, so he will be in the Players, and that could be the decisive factor in terms of being seeded at the Crucible.
Yes, so you'll overtake a couple of players. You'd think somebody. I think
52.
Robert Milkins is in 14th or 15th place, but Barry could overtake players such as Rob, who won't be in those
56.
tournaments because there are a lot of points on offer. The Players Tour Championship, etc.
Yeah, the Tour is top 12, so obviously likely to be in that as well, and then he should be okay.
61.
Anyway, that's all to come. Right now, he's played a nice frame. Having missed that red out of nowhere, you can forget about the mistake because he wasn't punished for it. Neil Robertson missed the long blue,
67.
and Hawkins has gone about this with his usual efficiency.
74 on the
A nice
first frame, Barry
74 break, higher than any of the breaks we saw in the first match. Barry Hawkins leads Neil Robertson 1-0. Barry Hawkins leads
Second
Neil
frame.
Robertson 1-0. Second
Hawkins.
match of the day here on table 1 in Group 4 of Bet Victor Championship League. Hawkins lost to Karen Wilson 3-1 first up. Table 2, John Higgins beat Jimmy Robertson 3-2. Ricky Walden and Zhao Guodong are in their opening frame. We have 3 players, of course, into the winners group so far. Stuart Bingham, Chris Wakelin and Mark Selby. 4 more places to be decided. 2 of them this week, and then again when we return in a few weeks' time. Of course, the winners group will follow in early March to decide our champion.
That's a really good break off from Barry Hawkins. Cue ball tight to the bolt cushion. Neil certainly doesn't have an easy safety shot here. That red near the right side cushion would be easy to cannon into with the cue ball if he catches this red too thick.
A lot of respect between these two. 17-11 on the all-time head-to-head to Robertson between them. Some big meetings along the way, including, of course, the recent one at the Masters. Where Robertson actually had 2 centuries, but still defeated.
Always a chance of pushing a red towards that left corner. It's definitely cuttable. Neil has only just had a look at it actually. He's coming around just to see the severity of the cutback. It doesn't look too bad to me. Worth a try. Oh, can Barry cut this in? It's a very fine cut. just past the two reds above the black. That was a good one that Barry found there, and well played. Immediately comes down for a choice of those two reds by the black spot to bring the black into play, and he couldn't have played that better.
4.
From nowhere, he's right in amongst them again.
Five. $12. 30.
Now, as it were, screwing into the pack of reds to develop a few. He'll expect to have a choice of reds this right corner.
Classic Hawkins this. He's got beat first match.
20.
There's a few people who would already be sort of down in the dumps, but he just gets on with it, doesn't he? That's what he does. He just gets on with it. Great pro.
20.
Great sort of stalwart of the tour. Well liked by everybody. And a terrific player as well. That's the bottom line. Good to see him back in the top 16.
$28. $29.
Maybe a little straight on the black, but there is a red to the right of the pink he could screw back for, plus the one that's near the left centre. Just needs to slow down a little. That's not ideal. The pot should be okay, but
36.
Keeble will be cannoning of the balls here.
$37.
Well, now it's looking like a good chance Reds bitingly spread, you've got to say. Robertson, of course, he missed that long blue in the opening frame. Decided to take it on, having overrun position for a bulk colour. Not a bother here.
42.
Oh, Barry's under hit that by, well, let's just say the keyboard needed to run through at least another foot there. The red into this left corner. So he's going to have to play quite a complex positional shot here for the black. That could go wrong.
43.
And a little short of pace, so again he's going to have to play a cannon into reds.
Yeah, not ideal, because obviously, you know, it could go wrong. It could finish awkward. Well, he's okay. So 50 in front. Still looking good for a 2-0 lead. And Neil Robertson, he was all sweetness and light before it started, wasn't he? All happy to be there and laughing and joking. Suddenly looking a bit stony-faced.
51.
Well, it has to be said, Barry Hawkins produced nothing like this form in his first match with Kyron Wilson. That's one thing. On the other side of the coin, I suppose you could say Neil Robertson hasn't done that much wrong, really. Hasn't got any sort of a foothold in this match yet. The missed blue to the corner was probably made more difficult because he was so close to the yellow ball when queuing at it, so that never helps.
54. 62.
Of course, there is a high break prize in each group. Not every player knows that, but there's £500 and
63.
could make a 137 here if he took Blash to the Reds. That would be a pretty useful target. Of course, Kyron Wilson had a 147 in the previous group yesterday. John Higgins had a 132. Total clearance to beat Jimmy Robertson in their decider, 3-2.
70.
Certainly won the frame anyway, so Robertson with it all to do here.
Barry Hawkins 70.
That'll do. 79. He wanted a century, obviously, and I think he maybe was aware of the high break sort of scenario. But anyway, he's won the frame. Barry Hawkins firmly on top here, leading Neil Robertson 2-0. So the Hawks soaring here. Barry Hawkins 2-0 over Neil Robertson, but by no means over yet. Neil Robertson played some good stuff yesterday. First day he struggled a bit, but yesterday he played some good stuff. Just outplayed by Higgins in that semi-final. Even so, he needs to obviously get going soon here. Hawkins looking good. Just that one real mistake from him, the missed red in the first frame, but he got another chance after that when Robertson missed the long blue. Zhao Gudong, meantime, has won the first frame on table 2 against Ricky Walden. There are certain names you're always going to see in events like this. Stuart Bingham was one, Hawkins, Ricky Walden another. You know, great supporters of the tour. Players who just play really. They don't sort of get involved in complaining and other things. Just like playing, turn up and play and give it their best. Yeah, well, his safety's got to be good now, hasn't it? And that was a good one.
Shot from Neil, just opening a few reds into play, something that you tend to do when you're behind in a match. You want to get frames on the board as quickly as possible. Don't want to become inveigled into long bouts of safety play with an opponent who's very tactically aware. Is a chance for Neil Robertson. The only problem is he needs to avoid the main bunch with the cue ball. He needs to go around the right hand side of them if he can manage it. Too thick though. Just a beautiful stroke from Neil Robertson. Nothing moves except his back arm. Guided that cue ball in behind the yellow to perfection. But even so, I'll be a little surprised to see Barry make a mistake and leave Neil Robertson an opportunity from here, even though he is snookered.
Foul. Yes. Neil Robertson.
Sure, that'll go back.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob Spencer, referee in charge here.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, they're all having a good look, weren't they? But you can see he made it this time.
Barry's got to be careful not to leave a red near this left corner here. Has done, but will it run far enough to the cushion? It hasn't. This is another good chance for Neil. The black has been freed as well. Has to be said though, with the angle he has on the cue ball, it won't be easy to get onto a colour from this red, but if he can manage it, it'll be a great chance.
Well, first glance, it looks like he's got away with it. Unless anything goes through the gap there. Robertson's problem, though, is the one man under pressure, obviously trailing 2-0 against someone certainly playing better than he was in his first match this morning. Close.
One.
Even Neil was laughing at that one. I'm sure Neil's very surprised the way this match has gone. He's hardly just got in. He's hardly had an opportunity, really. Just one. He overscrewed off the side of the pack of reds and landed in no man's land. Can Barry get onto a red here from the brown? He's certainly going to have a red to the left centre, if nothing else.
5.
If you look at the position of the reds, they're all in one another's way. That little shelf of 5 reds to the left and the right of the black spot. There's only really one of them that pots easily. And if Barry were to pot the black here and not the pink, I'm not entirely sure whether black would spot. Whether its own spot is occupied or not, it's hard to see. I can't see it from here. But if he plays the pink, I'm just wondering what red he'd be playing for. season he played the pink, he played the cannon, but whew, well, doesn't look ideal, let's put it that way.
No, it's all a bit horrible, isn't it? You're going to get the spider out here, I think.
12.
Ball's just in the way, really.
Well, problem here, Dave, is if he doesn't apply some backspin to the cue ball, he can't get on the black. So he's digging down. Ooh, dear me, this doesn't look nice.
Well, he's done well there, but it's just very congested, isn't it? That's the problem. Just very congested and
30.
got a kind of bit like a Rubik's Cube, this is at the moment. You've got to try and just put all the pieces together, or in this case, take them apart.
Twenty.
Well, Barry looking to see if that black's available. If it is, it's a massive bonus. He can do a lot more with the black than anything else. He can develop reds.
20.
Well, he can pot the black here and just nudge the red that's in front of the black a little further out of the way of it. In fact, that red actually pots past the other two, so beginning to unravel here for Barry Hawkins.
$28. 29.
Potting that red has opened up another one to the left of the black, the left corner.
$35.
Well, I just wonder if Barry nudged into the red that he wanted to be on, actually.
40.
He's got this alternative, no matter what, to the right centre. He can play for the pink or the blue here.
44.
Well, he's already done well to get to 44. He's just worked it out well. Slowly, the mists are clearing here. And he has a chance to get the match won. He's pretty comprehensive, Robertson. He did have that chance in
50.
frame one. The mist blue let Hawkins in for his second chance. Dominated frame two.
50.
To really work at these in frame three.
It's been such a contrasting performance, this, from Barry Hawkins. So that's of his first match with Kyron. And both players struggled, really.
57. $58.
Well, you can see that Barry's looking at the two reds terms of making them into a plant. He has a choice. He can play for the plant or play for the red nearest this left corner along the top cushion, which wouldn't be too difficult to pot, it has to be said, if he could get onto it well. Oh, it's just bounced a little off the cushion though. It's thinner than intended, this red, and could be missed.
65.
I'd have to say this is Neil Robertson's remaining hope of getting back to the table in this match.
Yeah. Got this. He leaves it in the jaws. He hasn't missed it.
66.
So to the lead, the pink, and Robertson will need a snooker. This has been a good break because it's been quite complicated to make. But Hawkins, as ever, has just got on with the task in hand. And this is a good bounce back from losing that first match where it wasn't a great standard, really. But he certainly upped his level for this one. And that plant.
73.
Okay, the red's in front of the black, but surely there's no way back here for Robertson. Especially not now.
I feel a little sorry for Neil Robertson. He must have
79.
come here this morning thinking, right, my game's much better now, I'm looking forward to this group. And he's hardly had a shot in this match. But there's a long way to go, and I still fancy Neil to qualify for the playoffs tomorrow evening.
Well, he's in the position Hawkins was in because he's going to stay on to play the next match, Robertson.
Barry Hawkins,
And he'll be
80,
hoping for better
playing
things
the
against
match.
Jimmy Robertson. But Barry Hawkins has bounced back in great style there. Having lost to Karen Wilson, he's beaten Neil Robertson 3-0.